Hello everybody, it's everyone's favourite feisty feline, Xephas Gracepaws here. If you're new around here, please subscribe and ring that bell for more furry fandom related content. Also, why not join my Discord community, link in the description. So it's been a little while since we last had a furry reviews, but we are back and in good form with a recent film that's had some pretty mixed reviews. That is, of course, a film based on the Andrew Lloyd Webber play, Cats. Now, since it came out less than a month ago and some people might still want to go and see it, I'm going to keep spoilers to an absolute minimum while giving my opinions on the movie. The whole concept of the movie is that an abandoned cat named Victoria meets a group of other cats that tell her that it's the night of the Jellicoe Ball, a special event where the cats must sing songs about themselves and their lives to win the favour of old Deuteronomy, played by Dame Judi Dench, to become reborn in the Heaviside Layer. And I can't really go on without talking about the controversy with the film. Now, it's been very heavily slated by the critics to the point where, at time of recording, it's only got 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. The film isn't quite a big fire in a dumpster made of soiled diapers and shame, but it's certainly not an experience I'd choose to have again. In fact, when I went to watch the film this weekend, 2 people walked out of the showing halfway through. But that being said, there were still quite a few things that I actually enjoyed. When I saw the trailer with Gwen, link in the description, we were both in shock and awe at how horrible it looked. Like, the movie itself wasn't as bad as the trailer, but it certainly wasn't perfect. Oh. Anyway, the faces were a little bit wobbly and didn't stay completely in the same spot when characters were moving around, but the close-ups were pretty decent. The characters themselves looked alright, all things considered, which a lot of the critics were criticising. I think that a lot of the critics weren't too familiar with the anthropomorphic furry style, because I felt it looked fine, but a lot of the critics were critiquing that especially, and that it looked weird. But honestly, I think it looked fine and it was good. Another thing that I liked was the music. Like, I've heard the songs from the musical before, and these were really good renditions. Well, all but 1 or 2 that I'll mention in the dislike section, but honestly, the songs were really good. The main hit from the musical, Memory, was really good, very well done. The final thing that I really liked about the film was the set design. Like, all of the scenes looked really lovely. Like, there are several scenes where the cats are outside on what I guess is a London street, and there are neon signs and stuff that have been adapted, and they look all sort of cat feline related. So there's like Catsino and Milk Bar, which it was kind of humorous a little bit, but it kind of added a lot to the scene, and it was really nice. The set design was really well put together, and the framing was just awesome. So unfortunately, we have to move on to the negative side of this, the things that I disliked about the film. The first of them, and the most major thing, was a few of the actor choices, and by a few I mean one of the actor choices. So, no hate, I don't like to hate on anybody, but I really don't like James Corden. Like, from his early work on Gavin and Stacey to his newer things like The Late Show, I don't like any of it. I do not like him particularly. I've heard he's not the nicest person, which has probably skewed why I don't like him. That's probably painted at that picture in my head. But I just don't like him. I don't find him funny, I don't find him entertaining. But he played one of the cats in the movie, Buster for Jones, and I have to say it wasn't terrible, but yeah, basically, unfortunately, the personality of Buster for Jones in this was very much James Corden. Like, the personality was very similar. The singing wasn't great. The song itself, I'm not so keen on that one. But yeah, in general, his singing just wasn't the best. I think he needs to do some more carpool karaoke, then maybe he might be able to hold a good tune. Now, as little as I want this section to be a let's hate on James Corden section, unfortunately I'm going to have to bring his character up again, and this time I'm going to have to throw in Rebel Wilson, who I also don't particularly like. Unfortunately, I find Rebel Wilson's character in the movies she's in just unfunny. Like, her comedy is I'm fat and I fall over, and that's not comedy. That's not comedy to me. However, her character and James Corden's character played sort of comic relief characters, which didn't really add much to the story, and unfortunately they were comic relief kind of right at the start, which is where it wasn't needed. Like, at the start of the film it was sort of upbeat and jolly, and it didn't really need the comic relief. As the story was getting deeper towards the end, it would have been a bit nicer to sort of break up the serious parts to have a little bit of comic relief, but overall it just didn't work. And since we're on dislikes, here's my biggest failing of the film. You've heard of scale, right? Well, the production team on Cats certainly haven't. So there's this one scene in which Skimbleshanks the railway cat was dancing on a railway with the other cats, and they look tiny in comparison to the trains, probably about cat size. Then there's another scene where the main character Victoria is with Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer stealing jewellery from a house, and her whole hand fits through the hole in a ring, which, if that's cat size, that is a huge ring. Like, that human has got such a big finger if they're able to put a whole cat's paw through it. And finally there's a scene where all the cats at the end are sat on a statue and they seem about human sized, which the scale in the film changes throughout, and it's a bit jarring, for me at least. And honestly, for me, it's like the main failing of the film. Overall, the film was a decent adaptation of the musical. The songs in it were really great, and I did honestly enjoy the experience. Now, following on from the last Furry reviews all those months ago, I do have a rating system out of 5 paws, and I would give Cats 3 paws. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.